Maniac game review. Maniac game review. Maniac game review. Giving off nostalgia. Retro power.
Cowabunga, my dudes and dudettes. I don't know about you, but this new trailer has got me super excited for Shredder's Revenge again. So excited, in fact, I decided to go back and finish one of my previously unfinished videos. That's right, I'm talking about my DLC speculation part 4 for Shredder's Revenge. But before we dive into that, I need to mention something real quick. I had asked you guys if you had any information about these two characters. A big shout out to Hans in the comment section who revealed to me the identities of these characters. They are not from the Usagi Yojimbo universe like I had thought, but are in fact from the Archie Turtles Adventure comics from the 1990s. The very same comic series that can be seen on a table in the background of one of the developer videos for Shredder's Revenge. The character on the left is actually a female fox assassin named Ninjara. At first, she is the Turtles' enemy, but soon realizes that she's on the wrong side of the fight. She actually ends up joining the Turtles and falls for Raphael, becoming his girlfriend. Sounds familiar? The character on the right is actually Ninjara's evil boss, Chin Khan, who had a plan to release Noi Tai Dar, an evil demon of the underworld. I even came across this character in the Archie comics. His name's Alfalqua, and in the comics he appears next to the four-armed Catmandu. It's also kind of funny that I chose Hothead as a boss encounter for my speculation of the DLC, when in fact Hothead is a huge part of the storyline of these comics. Okay, so moving on to the rest of the video. So in part 3 of my DLC speculation video, when I'm talking about saving things for future videos, Granitor can be seen in the background standing next to some strange orb-like device. This brings us to my first idea for an alternate route. In episode 4, Rumble in the Zoo, you'll eventually come to an area where there's some chessboards and a pizza on the ground. Continue moving forward from here and avoid the stampede. Now when you are prompted to go forward, you can actually move up and take the alternate route. You come to a different area of the zoo and instantly see two very familiar faces. No, it's not Bebop and Rocksteady, it's another famous duo of baddies. That's right, we're talking about General Trag and Granitor. Granitor can be seen holding the strange orb-like device. Trag messes around with the remote control he's holding and pushes a button. They release the orb device into the air and it flies up towards the atmosphere. General Trag and Granitor realize that they've been spotted and make a run for it. Your only choice now is to pursue the two, but you soon realize something strange about the weather. The sky is darkened and the winds begin to howl, but bad weather isn't going to stop the Foot Clan from attacking. Amongst this bad burst of weather, small twisters form that you can actually pick up and throw foot soldiers into, rendering them helpless. You'll randomly have to run against huge gusts of wind that will blow the enemies off screen. Occasionally a bolt of lightning will strike down upon friends and foe alike. Besides dealing with foot soldiers, twisters, and the wind, General Trag's rock soldiers will show up and try to pummel you. Foot soldiers on flying kites will also make an appearance from the level Panic in the Sky. However, these soldiers will stay on their kite using the wind to their advantage. They'll throw down kunai daggers, and a second variant will throw a bomb. After beating all the baddies and avoiding the bad weather, you realize that the atmosphere is changing again. It almost feels peaceful as the autumn weather turns to winter. Snow starts to fall, and you are instantly transported into a winter wonderland. You can almost hear the sleigh bells ringing. Enjoy it while you can, however, because you soon come across a group of foot soldiers busy having a snowball fight and even building snowmen. How nice. This has got to be a trap, right? They notice you're there and begin attacking you, throwing snow-covered shurikens. For those of you who have played this retro turtle game, you can guess what's going to happen. After defeating the foot soldiers, the curious-looking snowmen suddenly spring to life. It's Frosty the Hitman! This enemy type was specially designed for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game for NES. You'll have to knock the snow off these robots before you can damage them. They bounce around crazily and shoot carrot nose-shaped missiles at you. Also, I need to talk about this. Come on, Cowabunga Collection. Aren't you missing something here? Where's my Pizza Hut sign? Here's a new enemy, a holiday cryopack foot soldier with the ability to freeze the turtles in place. It's the very same cryo pack that Shredder used to freeze all the turtles in one of the 1987 cartoons. Go Shredder. Some hazards you'll have to avoid are giant blocks of ice falling from the sky. I hear the sound of large machinery approaching. Watch out, it's the deadly snowplow. Eventually you'll catch up with General Trag and Granitor. They're holding the remote control for the crazy weather device. They realize you're here to fight and hastily try to make an escape, hopping in the Technodrome module, blasting off, drilling a hole into the earth. Just as you're ready to hop in the hole after them, some bubbling lava comes to the surface.
My toes! My toes!
But wait, what's that on the ground? Trag must have dropped the remote. But before you can even think about picking up the remote, a stranger swoops in from the side and lifts the remote up, putting it into their jacket pocket. All the way from his alien Arctic planet is the bounty hunting bear, Tora. That's right, it's the very same Tora you fought in the snow-covered Central Park Level 4 of the NES game. However, my version of Tora isn't so predictable. His moveset has been upgraded drastically. He'll still kick and swipe his claws at you, but instead of the ice boulder falling from the sky, he'll actually do a dash attack and roll one up. He'll then lift it over his head and throw it at you like he did in the NES version. But watch out when he charges at you. If you're in his direct path, he'll roll you up in his ice boulder. He'll then proceed to fling you to the ground or in the direction of the nearest player for major damage. If that other player jump kicks Tora, he'll drop the boulder. Besides ice boulders, Tora will actually reach into the molten lava and pull out a lava rock, flinging it in your direction. If you thought ice boulders and lava rocks were bad, players that get too close to Tora might suffer a devastating move. Tora will grab the player doing an Arctic Cyclone pile driver, taking inspiration from Street Fighter's Zangief. This spinning pile driver-like move is especially deadly in a multiplayer game due to it producing ice tornadoes that whirl around, freezing your allies. Eventually you'll defeat Tora and he'll drop the remote. You'll throw it into the air and smash it with a flying kick, thus destroying the crazy weather device and returning everything back to normal. Ah, spring is here. So I'm going to change things up a little bit and go with the new format that the DLC uses, well at least the format I think it uses, where you'll hop into a dimensional portal and warp to a new area. So in the previous video I had already shared my idea for the alternate route to episode 15, Outworld Strangeoids. But then I got to thinking it would be cool if one of the DLC portals actually appeared in front of Shredder's statue and you could hop in and it would transport you to my first idea for a new area, Shredder's personal dojo. Enemies included in this wave are the brand new foot soldier type shown off in the Dimensional Shellshock trailer. These new foot soldiers kind of remind me of the jumping foot soldiers from level 6 of the NES game. Other enemies from that old retro level will show up as well, including the Metal Scorpions and the White Tiger Ghosts. Dragon Knights will also appear among the waves of enemies. Once you defeat the final wave of enemies, I'm sure you can guess who the boss will be. It's Shogun, of course. That's right, the very same Shogun from level 6 of the NES game. My next idea for a portal area that you can warp to is somewhere in Dimension X. It's going to be the Technodrome's personal junkyard. This techno landfill is filled with empty mutagen tanks, the remnants of failed experiments, and decommissioned foot soldiers and other robots that Krang doesn't want to use the resources to repair. The Technodrome can be seen roaming around in the background, and hovering above, guarding these junk pile mounds, is some sort of UFO. The waves of enemies will start when a purple beam blasts down from the UFO and energizes the landfill. Broken and bashed foot soldiers, some missing limbs, will pop out of the piles of trash to fight you. The enemy types ramp up from there, including Mousers, Roadkill Rodneys, Mouser Mothers, and Mouser 3. After you complete several challenging waves of enemies, it's boss fight time. A second purple beam fires down from the UFO, this time more powerful, and begins to charge up some familiar-looking faces hidden amongst the rubble. No, it's not Bebop and Rocksteady. It's Super Bebop and Mighty Rocksteady. So as I wrap this video up, I want to quickly discuss my idea for a playable character. This is a character that's not going to happen, but I'll go ahead and mention it anyway. I want playable Metalhead. Metalhead would be so cool as a playable character because he could take moves from all of the turtles and he could use all of their weapons. It would be his own robotic versions of those weapons, but it would be freaking rad. He could also open his chest and fire a laser for one of his special moves, and his regular attacks that don't mimic the turtles could be the ones where his arms and legs stretch out, giving him further range. The only glaring issue, of course, is him being a boss, but I think I might have solved this problem with the introduction of Super Bebop and Mighty Rocksteady. If you play as Metalhead and reach the boss in a few screws loose, instead of Metalhead, Super Bebop and Mighty Rocksteady burst through the walls to fight you. But then that brings up another issue. What if you fight Super Bebop and Mighty Rocksteady in a few screws loose, and then warp to the Technodrome Junkyard level? Well, I guess we'll just have to have an alternate boss for that level. This time, when the UFO fires its second beam, Krang's alien executioner teleports to the ground to fight you. It's Anthrax. So what do you guys think of these DLC ideas? Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next video.
I sound like him.
Except I sound like him.
Or him.
I mean him. No, you don't.
Who am I now?
Uh-oh, personality overload. Dive!
Auga! Auga!
There's still a few bugs to work out.